Today I will be discussing just some of the artho-zoological impacts of the red fox. Red foxes live all around the world in many diverse habitats, such as forests, grasslands, mountains, and deserts. They also adapt well to human environments, such as farms, suburban areas, and even large communities. The red fox's resourcefulness has earned it a legendary reputation for intelligence and cunning. Foxes can be found all across the globe, naturally inhabiting the majority of the northern hemisphere, whilst being an introduced and pest species in Australia. Red foxes are solitary hunters who feed on rodents, rabbits, birds, and other small game, however are also known for having a flexible diet when required. Foxes will eat fruit and vegetables, fish, frogs, and even worms. If living among humans, foxes will be opportunistically eating garbage and pet food. In Australia, foxes can be classified as one of a few key species that significantly reduces biodiversity and impacts on the survival of native prey over large areas and entire ecosystems. The environmental costs associated with foxes are considerably greater than their agricultural impact, and consequently any large-scale reduction of fox densities could greatly generate significant environmental benefits as well as financial benefits. Foxes are considered a threat to 14 species of bird, 48 mammals, 12 reptiles, 2 amphibians, and with 3 of these birds, 1 mammal, 1 reptile, being currently listed as critically endangered. Foxes are thought to have played a significant role in the demise and extinction of many ground-dwelling native species in the last 2 centuries in Australia. The economic impact of foxes in Australia has been estimated at roughly around $227.5 million per annum. This includes $17.5 million in sheep production losses, $190 million in environmental impacts, $16 million in management costs, and $4 million in research costs. These production losses are rather conservative actually in today's environment, where lamb retail prices are now much higher than they were previously when the sheep production costs were estimated. The total economic impact must also take into account the redirection of resources away from farm activities for control measures and even reduced land values. Foxes can cause significant distress and hardship when they kill livestock such as poultry and lambs. Foxes carry diseases that are transmittable to domestic dogs and humans, such as sarcoptic mange, hyatids, and leprotosis. The fox is also a carrier of rabies where rabies is present, and thus could be a major vector if the disease were ever introduced into Australia. According to the Australian government, effective fox and wild dog management requires an integrated approach utilising all available management practices, including poison baiting, trapping, exclusion fencing, fumigating, and appropriate animal husbandry. Hunting can play an important role in supporting an integrated management approach. Foxes are a very invasive pest species, and thus a joint effort between the state and the general public is required to eradicate the species from Australia. The government also has a well-established program that rewards eligible Victorian hunters with a $10 bounty reward for each fox killed. In countries where foxes are not detrimental pest species, the red fox has been used for genetic domestication testing. An experiment on the domestication of foxes was initiated by scientists who were interested in the topic of domestication and the process by which wolves became modern domesticated dogs. The research program began in 1959 in the former Soviet Union by zoologist Dmitry Belyaev, and it has been in continuous operation since. Belyaev believed the key factor selected for the domestication of dogs was not size or fertility, but behavior. Specifically tameability. Since behavior is rooted in biology, selecting for tameness against aggression means selecting for physiological changes in the systems that govern the body's hormones and neurochemicals. Russian scientists achieved a population of domesticated foxes that are fundamentally different in temperament and behavior from their predecessors. Some changes in physiology and morphology became visible, such as changes in fur coloration. Some scientists believe that these changes obtained from selection for tameness are caused by lower adrenaline production in the new population. It is then assumed that these changes causing physiological changes within relatively few generations and yielding genetic combinations not present in the original species. In conclusion, foxes can cause distress for people across the globe. The environmental impact they have on countries such as Australia, where they are introducing pest species, is huge, whilst the agricultural impact they have globally is extremely significant. With the possibility for domestication of foxes being conclusively possible, the future for the red fox remains uncertain. The potential for domestic breeds to become better suited for survival in both the wild and urban areas is highly plausible, and may simultaneously reduce the economic and environmental impact the red fox has. Thank you.